It's a brand new day.
Yes,
It's
a
a brand.
brand new day.
How have you
All
been?
right. No, let me do the intro for this one. All right.
Okay, okay.
The with this is part two of this episode of podcast. Now, we're gonna release it at slightly different times, and part of the reason why is because if the first episode was like, yay, TI, post TI happiness, like I did not want to take away from that TI happiness. I want you guys to be able to have fun, enjoying TI, have a nice wrap up. Feels good, man. This is not going to be that episode, though. So, if you're just going from that other episode straight into this one, maybe take a beat. Maybe listen tomorrow morning instead. Maybe wait for your next workout, something like that. If you're listening to this one right away after TI, don't do that. Just hold on to the TI happiness a little bit longer because this one's gonna be the depressing one.
I fully intend on just letting you go. Sometimes when I look at the episodes after I make them, depending on what we're talking about, like sometimes there's a lot of back and forth in the waveforms. Like I got to balance both of our audio. Sometimes I do like talking for 20 minutes. Sometimes we have episodes that's just like 30 plus minutes a cap, like going crazy. And I anticipate that I might have some follow up questions, but I anticipate that this is going to be a lot of Austin's audio.
Uh, well, I want to start off. You look great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, did you lose any more weight?
Uh, I think that the hair helped. I haven't
Yeah.
weighed myself. I'm going on the plane to Hawaii tomorrow for the wedding. I was doing really good with the diet, with the exception of the last 48 hours for me have been miserable. And I don't want to co-opt any miserable because I think relatively speaking I've been less miserable. But like I've been cheating on the diet and eating more ice cream than I wanted to at the tail end of it. But I will take the compliment. Thank you.
You do. You look great. It was the moment I saw you on camera, I was like, "Oh, Joey looks great. He's gonna look fantastic for the wedding." My week fucking sucked. Oh my god, it sucks so much. Oh fuck. This has been like one of the worst weeks of my life. This
I'm
has been fucking terrible.
I'm really sorry. I'm laughing at you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. My misery can be somebody else's happiness. I'm always comfortable with that. But like, ooh, fuck, dude. What the fuck? All right, so Ti starts off. Like I have some gripes and complaints. I actually have a lot of gripes and complaints. But I'm not going to air them here. Um I'm gonna list like some random things that stuff, but like, so group stage starts, and yeah, it went okay. Group stage was all right. Um, there was production problems. Always happens with group stage, because essentially group stage is just there to like get the seating. Like I think from a Valve perspective or a PGL perspective or whoever, like group stage isn't there for there's like minimal production, right? As minimal as you can do for like the individual streams, have a decent setup for the main one. It's mostly just there to like get the seating and prepare for the main event. That's why all the cool shit shows up for the main event, which I think is pretty fair. It's also why like the group stage is a big testing ground for a lot. Crowd noise was really bad in group stage, but they figured out how to be able to use it better, and it was great in playoffs. And that happens because they use it during groups. So,
It did take them
you
2 weeks to figure out how to use a green screen properly, so that was exciting.
know,
The amount of people, like, I understand what you're saying, and I think that it makes sense to like have some kind of issues, but the amount of people who are like, "What do you mean Cheever's hair wasn't pink?" was a lot because they did it. They like, I don't know how they got that so flagrantly wrong. I was seething. Anywho, that's my cross to bear.
yeah, that wasn't great. I've never liked green screen productions. It ended looking really nice. But yeah, especially the first couple days were pretty rough. But the caster life was okay. We would go into the stadium. They had us in the team booth suites. So we were inside of the stadium. And yeah, things could have been better. But like things got resolved over time. Like food wasn't great. It got better over time. Um, all in all, things were like okay. My personal experience with group stage was not amazing. Me and Kyle did not have very many good games. I think we had maybe two games out of our entire casting set that were actually good. Um, that were like exciting and good and stuff like that. And they didn't even come close to like the other hype matches that were happening around. So yeah, that's always disappointing. You know, it's just luck of the draw. Like you know, you do what you could do. And yeah, so okay, group stage is finished, but the main event is coming up. So time for playoff. And does playoff start on a Monday or a Tuesday?
I want to say that playoffs started on the 12th, which was today's the 17th, a Tuesday. Tuesday the 12th.
Okay, so Tuesday, playoffs be. Um, Kyle and I are doing the last two series, so this is already starting off pretty well. We're not doing either one of the hype best of three upper bracket matches, but we're doing the hypest elimination matches. We're doing Beast Coast Alliance, which is okay, whatever, but we've got the hypest one of all, right? Elephant versus EG. Like this one is like literally the most hype best of one that has ever happened at TI. The most star-studded. Like when you guys you look at the resume of the people playing in that best of one, it's insane. They're against each other in an elimination match. So like this is we get like the hypest elimination match of maybe all time for best of ones. Just on like credibility, right? Not necessarily on the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, this is already starting off pretty well. We go and the casting setup is outside. So it's like, okay, this is already going to be a bit of a problem because it's an outdoor stadium, right? So it's cold. It's cold out there. It's cold in Bucharest in October. So an outdoor stadium.
What is cold?
That contributes.
Like are we talking like 40s, 50s Fahrenheit or?
Right now it's 10 degrees Celsius. So which I think is what it was when Kyle and I were casting. So we're talking about anywhere from 40 to 50 degrees. I believe 10 is around 50 degrees Celsius.
Yep.
So it's bearable. It's just not ideal. But they got us electric blankets, and later on they got like a heater and some other stuff, and they let us wear scarves and things like that. So yeah, the point being is that it was intended to be able to have the casters in the audience, which is where you want to be as a caster. It's the most hype place to be, and no audience. So then you're just kind of like out there, and there's nobody around. So
the reverb in the stadium was weird the first day because they kept like the PA audio on, so you were hearing the caster reverb. And it's like, why is that there for the audience? It's worse for the audience and doesn't really benefit the people at the stadium. I think they changed that.
It created the crowd noise, which was kind of interesting. I think.
Oh, players heard it.
Yeah, like the crowd noise was going on in the stadium.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know, but I don't know if that is because, as you said, the reverb was weird, and I think the caster audio was still going out in the stadium. Not 100% sure. I'm not actually certain, and I'll tell you why, because I wasn't there. I did the two elimination matches. I felt kind of tired, and ultimately I just wasn't super happy with the product that we put out. I think it was okay, but I think it was okay. I think it was good-ish. But I wasn't like super happy with it. I didn't feel it. Usually you can feel it when you do a good cast.
You knew you could do
Didn't.
better.
Yeah. Knew we could do better. Went home. Read some comments that were like, "These guys suck." These casters are annoying. I was like, "Well, shit, that's not great." Like, there's everybody else is getting praise, and we're getting some unfortunate comments, and I was just like, "Fuck, all right, it's time to step our game up." And I go to sleep, and I wake up, and I've got just a massive headache in the morning. Just a fucking massive headache. And I'm just like, oh my God, I feel real fucking out of it. I took a sleeping pill to make sure that I would get a lot of sleep. So I was like, okay, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I didn't drink enough. And I feel out of it because the sleeping pill. Because they were putting us on the last series of the day. They did it the first day, and then they were doing it the second day. So I was trying to get it so my sleep schedule would be like, I wake up right as the games start, and I'll be nice and awake by the time it's my turn to cast. Because you never know. Like, you could be starting your cast at midnight, for all you know, with production delays and long games and stuff like that. So I needed to be ready to be up super late. My head just fucking pounded with the worst headache I've had, and yeah, I was like, okay, hopefully this gets better, and it wasn't getting better. And so, with COVID being a big concern, I was like, all right, I'm gonna be responsible. I'm not gonna try and work through this. I told Bruno, I was like, hey, I'm not feeling so hot. Think I should probably just skip this one out. Come back tomorrow, just in case. And okay, done. I rest up that day, watching the games, and I'm like, okay, this'll hopefully pass. I'll be good. And I think it was at that time that JJ had put out that like he had the flu or something like that. Because, like, he had tested negative, so he was like, oh, I've got the flu. And I was like, ah, shit. That's probably what I have. It's like, I probably have the flu, too.
You guys were like in
And,
an enclosed room together during the group stage, right? Because I saw on JJ's Instagram that like he was sitting next to you and Kyle. Is that correct?
yeah. That would be true for, like, all the talent, though. We were frequently, like, in close proximity together. Stuff like that, like multiple times. It's like normal for event stuff, just because we get tested every single day. We get rapid tested, and we got PCR tested when we got here, right? So between that and like generally just like not interacting with other people, you're in a bubble of sorts. But this wasn't a strict bubble. There was other people in the hotel that were not TI. So this hotel wasn't like closed out. Obviously, the big talking point is like Bucharest, a lot of COVID going on right now. That's just bad luck. It is what it is. Not like Valve can change that somehow. Vaccination levels in Bucharest are only around 50%, as far as I understand, which is better than the rest of Romania, but obviously still kind of low. And yeah, there's things like we have to go outside in order to walk to the shuttles. So like, there is potential exposure points. There's like, for example, like during the group stage, there's a whole bunch of construction workers who are also getting tested every day, because I saw it and I was like, whoa, that's not good. There's like 200 people that are around me right now. But I asked, and they said they were getting tested every day. So, because we all got food in the same area during group stage. So you couldn't really not
Like a
get around
buffet?
them. Yeah. In a buffet sort of situation. So yeah, so there's a lot of potential exposure points, but we're all vaccinated, and again, we get checked every day. So yeah, so JJ says he's got the flu. I'm thinking, shit, probably got the flu too. Like, okay, but like you can power through the flu pretty quickly. The problem is it's contagious, just like COVID. So I was like, okay, I should still be safe. I skip out on that one day. The next day, I'm asked if I can work, and the first day I was like, I can't work because I think I've got like those same flu-like symptoms as JJ. Second day, I get asked if I can work. I'm like, I think I should probably just be safe and not do it. I took a PCR test on the first day that I felt sick. I'm getting rapid tests every day. Everybody has to. But I individually went and got a PCR test just to make sure, just to be safe. And
When you say you
all came back.
individually lent, does that mean like you went somewhere in Bucharest, like on your own accord, or did like
No,
Valve
no,
bring you
like
one? Oh, okay.
the same company that is there, that's doing the rapid test, they also do PCR tests. And I just had
Got
to
you.
like go out of my way to ask. So I got a rapid test, and then I also got a PCR test at the same time,
Got you.
and came
Okay.
back negative. So I was like, okay, but like that's why in my head I was like, okay, probably the flu, just like JJ. And day two, I'm like, the flu is contagious. Probably shouldn't work. I'm like, even though I'm a caster and I'm like not going to interact with a ton of people, there's still the makeup ladies, for example. And if I have to take my mask off for makeup, and I was like, I just shouldn't risk getting them sick, even if I want to, and I feel like I could power through it, and I would do a good job. It's just like I don't want to. It's irresponsible of me,
Hmm.
Like I would be putting my own pride over the health of other people, and that just like didn't sit well with me. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll sit this one out as well. And I had a good mindset about it. I was like, hey, you know what? Like good things are coming out of this, right? Gareth got to cast for the first time on the main stage of TI on the first day because I didn't go, and he got to do main stage casts. He was super happy about that. That okay, that feels great.
He did a good
Day
job
two,
too.
yeah, he did a good
Like
job.
we should take a second and just acknowledge like when I was listening to his cast on the main stage, I was really happy for him because he's someone who I met like at TI's 6 years ago at after parties when he's like, ah man, I hope this casting thing works out, and he got to do it and he did a good job.
Yeah, yeah. I've always said that Gary's been the most underrated caster in Dota 2 and has been for a very long time. So day three, day two of me being sick, but day three of main event, skip that one out, right? And Moxie gets to cover it. Okay, boom, first female casting main event, like et cetera. Like she gets to experience that. Like good things are happening from this. I'm gonna be safe, and I'm thinking, okay. But surely this next day, I'm gonna do it, right? Like I waited out this flu stuff, and I think I'm gonna be. I hope anyway. I'll feel better by tomorrow. If I still shit, I'm not gonna go. But I tell Bruno, I'm like, all right. I think tomorrow I'm gonna be good to go.
Were you progressively feeling better at this point? Like were you seeing any improvement, or were you just like hoping that you were going to be better?
My headache went away, but I got a fever to replace it at times. I wasn't necessarily feeling better, but flu symptoms also, like, another reason I thought it was flu is that it came and hit me really fucking hard. If you look up like flu symptoms compared to COVID systems, like the quickness at which this hit me, flu, it really felt like it, because I had a massive fucking headache. My symptoms came very, very quickly. I went from being perfectly fine to like fucking terrible.
Hmm.
And flu also doesn't last that long, typically. And so honestly, I was just mostly hoping that I would get through it. And worst comes to worst, I would just keep my distance from everybody,
Hmm.
and I would wear a mask for the cast, and I wouldn't get makeup, and I would just because we also have our own headphones. So only person I would really be risking in that regard would be like Kyle. So if he was cool with it, then okay, it's the flu, so it's recoverable. And this was October 14th. That I October 14th at night. You know what happens October 15th, Joey?
Is October 15th the day
That's my
that's
birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's my birthday.
I
Yeah.
forgot. I
I
thought
was
your
like,
birthday was the
I'll be
16th.
back.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I'll be back for my birthday. It'll be great. I'll be like, I missed some days of playoffs and that really sucks, but like, I'll come back on my birthday for TI. Like, that'll be super awesome. Can't wait for that. Midnight. I fucking wake up at 12:05. I kid you not. I wake up at 12:05. 5 minutes into my birthday. I see I have a beautiful message from Ellie about my birthday and stuff. Just, wonderful. I can't appreciate it though, because I am soaked in sweat. Soaked. Like, as in the entire bed feels like I just pissed on it for hours on end.
Did
It's
you
the whole
you check?
thing. Like, and I go and I feel so fucking bad. I feel so bad. And I was like, I need a doctor. And so I messaged somebody for a doctor to get checked out. And I also messaged Bruno at the same time. I was like, hey, I need a doctor and I'm not going to be able to work tomorrow. Like, I'm not feeling great. This is at 12:05. I'm awake for like another hour and a half before an ambulance comes and
An ambulance?
ambulance is the word that they use. I don't know if that's exactly right, but two like paramedic guys come up to my room and they check me out. They do a whole heart check, checking my breathing, all this sorts of thing, and of course they're expecting me to be just another COVID patient. I'm expecting not to be a COVID patient. And they're going through all my symptoms and stuff like that. And they're asking for my PCR tests. And I was like, yeah, I took rapid tests and they're negative. And I took a PCR test and it's negative. And I remember the look that this guy gave me. This fucking look of disbelief of like, what do you mean it's negative? That's not possible for it to be negative. And I was just like, oh, fuck. And so I show him, and he's looking at the certificate like he can't believe what he's reading, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Are they
And
speaking English?
yeah, a bit. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. We have to do it over a couple times, but and so it's like 2:30 a.m. at this point in time. That by the time we finish up this whole rigmarole, and so the last thing is we're gonna do a rapid test, and this rapid takes 15 minutes as opposed to like the 60 seconds or whatever that the normal rapid tests take that we do every day. And we sit there and boop, he's like, it's positive, and he shows it to me like to really prove a point, like I was gonna disagree with him somehow. And I was like, oh, okay, well that fucking sucks. And yeah, so it was like, okay, it's now 3 a.m. I've spent the last 3 hours being a miserable mess. Find out I have COVID and able to work the rest of TI. Fucking great birthday. Happy birthday to me. And I have to make the decision of like, they're asking me, do I want to go to the hospital with them? And I feel like shit, but I also know Romania is not a place to go to the hospital right now. But then again, I've already got COVID. So, like, what am I? I can't catch it twice. But also, like, am I going to
double COVID? He's got double COVID.
It's super COVID. It's like, but am I going to get good service? Like, not like, food service, but like, is somebody actually going to take care of me? Because I know they're overbooked to shit out there. Those poor doctors and nurses and everybody, they're just stacked on stacked on stacked with COVID patients right now. So I'm like, is there even a point of going unless I'm like need a ventilator, unless I need a special medical equipment? Is there even a point in going to a hospital? And so I say no. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go. Go to sleep for like 2 hours at a time or something like that. And every time I wake up, I'm feverish. And I feel absolutely terrible. and I'm trying to get medicine where I can, and water. I needed water, and fortunately, like the town got me a bunch of water, because everyone had leftovers, and this stuff trickles in and stuff, and honestly, PGL and Valve, especially specific people at Valve, one specific person took really good care of me, and in some ways, I credit them for like me not having like a fucking breakdown, because like the next day was really bad. I got a thermometer and started taking my temperature. The first time I took my temperature, I was like, okay, my fever is probably not too bad. And it was 102.5,
Ooh.
which is a decently high temperature, I would say. For context, we're talking like 38.8, 38.9. And so that was like me when I was feeling like, okay, I probably don't have that much of a temperature right now. And so when I saw that, I was just like, oh, so like, what were all those temperatures I had before when I was so fucking out of it with fever and stuff? And the next day or so was me obsessively checking my temperature and watching that number go up and going like, holy shit.
Like, when do you need help? Like, yeah, like,
Exactly.
you're thinking, like, when is this going to become, like, an emergency?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's they say 103. That's when you seek medical attention, right?
Hmm.
What does that mean exactly? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about like what exactly does medical attention mean? Does that mean like a doctor check you out and tell you like, hey, here's what you, or does that mean like you should be in a hospital right now? Like,
My understanding, and let me preface this with I am not a doctor, is that when you're in the 103 range, that's when you like need to be ready to or already seeking medical attention, because if it's getting worse from that, you're in real trouble. So like it's like a red zone stage, right?
mm-hmm,
So
yeah.
you're in that red zone. You're like, oh no, do I need to go to the hospital? Is my brain gonna melt? Like,
Yeah,
what's
like am I like going to start getting brain damage if this keeps on going on, and I'm just like I'm living this fucking hellish, feverish fucking life. At some point in time, because they were only giving me water, and I wasn't thinking about it because I was so fucking feverish. And obviously my appetite had gone to shit. Um, that I'd only been drinking water, that at some point in time I started getting confusion. Like I started not being able to think straight and like getting dizzy and stuff like that. And like everything I was starting disassociating, and like things were getting like very hazy and stuff like that. And that's when I really started worrying, because like that's one of the danger signs of when you
high
when you
fever?
have fever, like high
Yeah.
fever, like you start getting those kind of symptoms, like something's going wrong in your brain. And I was like, if I was not worried about the fucking breathing, I was having no problem with that. I did not expect to have to be worrying about such a high fever. And the thing is like, I'm getting, I'm going up to 103, 103.5, like
Oh, dude,
regularly.
dude, that's
Like
that's warm.
every night when I go to sleep, I'm getting that, and I'm getting it regularly. And so I second time I call an ambulance, and of course the fever goes down right as I call, and have them make the call. It starts slowly going down from that point in time. By the time they arrive, I'm at again 102. So they're like, you're okay and stuff like that. Do you want to go to the hospital? And these guys gave me a bunch of tips and stuff like that. And again, same Valve employee was like, "Hey, have you had any salt?" And it fucking clicked with me. I was just like, "Holy shit!" The confusion that I was having, that wasn't necessarily fever, that was dehydration. Because I've experienced that, like that exact same symptoms. It all fucking flooded back to me in the military. I experienced that exact same thing because I used to need to drink because I sweat a lot naturally. I used to need to drink Pedialyte. You know, like the souped up Gatorade
Mm-hmm.
for fucking infants. I used to drink that because I would sweat so much. I would lose so much salt that I needed the electrolytes. So I would drink that before we would go on these hikes in the sun. And it all flooded back to me. I was like, oh, I remember passing out from heat exhaustion, and it's exactly like this. This is what I've been experiencing. And so they got me Gatorade, and you know, I was just like, I felt dumb, but again, I was feverish as shit and couldn't think straight most of the time. And I was so worried about just, what was going to be happening. So yeah, that was in a way rounding a corner, combined with the ambulance coming, and they told me a couple things, and so I spent the next day and a half, I think. One of the worst nights, I think, was I got to 39.8, and that's when I woke up. So like it could have been higher, I don't know, but 39.8, I don't know what that comes out to. Somewhere over 100.
103.6.
Yeah. So
103.64.
yeah, and so that was probably the highest temperature that I got on the thermometer. And again, it was just everything was soaked. And it was just like 3:30 a.m. and I had not been sleeping very much. And I was just in the bath, just having lukewarm water over me and wondering. I was just like, am I gonna die here? Like,
That's
is
wild.
if I go to the hospital, like, are they gonna be able to do anything? Like, what's gonna happen here?
And you said your breathing and your respiratory was okay the whole time. It was really
Yeah,
just fever that was problematic for you.
yeah, my sinuses were very clear. Actually, disturbingly so, because I felt like I could smell burning. When your sinuses are so clear, you know how you get like that weird smell sometimes. I
No, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Well, I get it sometimes. I swear to God, I felt like I could smell burning, and I was like, am I having a fucking stroke because my fever is so high? Like I didn't know what the fuck to think or do. And that was probably the lowest moment. It was just like 3:30 a.m. fucking laying there in the bath going like, all right, do I need to start like writing out messages on my phone? Like, you can fucking look it up. Actually, on Twitter, I fucking followed the U.S. ambassadors, the U.S. embassy in Romania, because I was gonna try and see if I could find a way to message them to see if I could somehow get one of the 5,200. Because I also looked this up. One of the 5,200 monoclonal or whatever that it's called antibodies. There were 5,200 that were sent to Romania from Italy, and I was gonna call my fucking embassy to see if there was some way that they could get me either to a private hospital, or if they could somehow get me my hands on those, because I was so fucking desperate at that point in time.
Can I
And I was
st-
just like,
can I stop you for a second and just
yeah,
say that I
go for
love the idea of you trying to save your own life by sending a Twitter DM?
That's pretty much what happened. I was like, fuck, they don't have a messaging system? I was like, who am I supposed to tweet at? What the fuck?
That's some good, I think when some people's bodies start to shut down, like they just go into survival mode, and your survival mode was very, very organically thinking about how you could help yourself the most. And I love that Twitter plays into that equation.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about like how can I find a way to cut through and basic, like cut through everybody else and save my own skin over the masses. That was what I came up with basically.
I feel so bad for Ellie, like just not being able to even be with you or like really do
yeah.
anything. Like I feel
By the way,
horrible for her.
the lead up to this, we talked about it last episode, was the fact that she flew in with me, but we had to get a separate hotel for her. We've been separated this entire time. We wouldn't be able to see each other for my birthday. Then I catch COVID, and she definitely can't see me. Oh, by the way, she went to the dentist while she's here. She had to get multiple oral surgeries while I was at the group stage. So she was
Oh
getting
my
oral
god.
surgery done on her and then would just take an Uber back to her hotel room by herself and just be there
Oh
in
my.
misery. And I can't do anything to help her. And I'm just like this feeling of powerlessness as she's just going through this excruciating pain and blood loss because she lost so much blood from the oral surgery. And then that's turned right back around because now I'm the one feeling fucking awful with COVID and stuff. But yeah, that like hour and a half, by the way, I spent like legitimately an hour and a half in the I woke up, by the way. There was so much sweat and water that my hands were wrinkly like when you're in the bath. I woke up and I had those wrinkles all over me because I had sweat so much that it covered everything, and I'd just been laying in fucking
Oh my god.
water for the longest time. And then I went into a fucking cold bath, so you can't believe like what I looked like afterward. But I went into that lukewarm bath for an hour and a half, and I was just laying there going like, is this ever going to end? Because it kept coming back and it kept coming back, and every single time it came back, it got a little worse. And I was just like, I'm gonna go to the hospital. I'm just gonna pull the plug. I'm gonna go to the hospital, and we'll just roll the dice and see what
You're
happens.
figuring out how to survive. That's what you're doing. You're like, what
Yeah,
gives me the
I,
highest probability of not dying, which is scary. Like, we say death so much as like, almost like a punchline or a joke, but at that point in time, you're really thinking like, what can I do to die the least? Which is
yeah,
which is
and I
terrifying. That's absolutely
I was
terrifying.
yeah, and that was the arithmetic I was doing, when the first time they asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital. And I judged that it was going to be actually better to stay out. And the third time I was so desperate because it wasn't going away that I was finally like, okay, after that hour and a half, so it was like 4 a.m., 4:30 or something like that. I had managed to get my temperature down enough. And I messaged my contact and I was like, all right, call the shuttle. I'm going to go to the hospital. And my temperature had gone down a bit. So I was like, okay, there's no rush. Like they're asleep, whatever. I'll wait till they wake up. And I don't think they woke up until like 8 a.m. By that time, I had changed my mind because my temperature had gone down enough. I was like, okay, I can beat this. I'm just gonna live in the fucking bath. I'm just gonna live in that fucking bathtub because I don't need a ventilator for whatever reason. My COVID just doesn't need that. But what I fucking need is just to be able to keep my body cool. And the valve employee and one valve employee, one PGL employee, like they took such good care of me. Like they were there when I needed it really badly. They got me like ice buckets, for example. So I was ready to just fucking live in ice in the bathtub if necessary. I was ready to just be like, yo, I need you guys to bring me as much ice as possible. Uh, and yeah, but I got a little bit more meds. I got vitamin D and vitamin C, which they say is supposed to be very helpful.
And this is the
Instead of the
16th now. This is Saturday at this point.
yeah, this is the 16th. So what is today's the 17th. So yeah, so then I had vitamin C and vitamin D. Instead of the multivitamin that I had, I switched up the meds a little bit, and my temperature would be coming back a bit, but I felt like I had a little bit better handle on it, and I was like, okay, I think I'm rounding a corner, and I did. That's when the diarrhea hit, so I got really dehydrated from that, and now the I've got a little bit of cough and stuff like that, but my lungs are very, very clear. So hopefully that will continue, and I won't get a phase of really, really bad really bad phlegm or anything like that. But yeah, that was my birthday. That was my week. That was my TI playoffs. That was my experience. I didn't watch hardly any of the event because most of it I was too sick to literally focus on any Dota. And the other half, where I started feeling better, which was yesterday and today, I was too depressed to watch any Dota. I watched the last game of the finals, and little bits and pieces here and there, and that is about it because I was too fucking depressed. Because at this point in time, like Lyrical and Trent Lyrical fucking stepped up his game amazingly. He fucking did such a great job. I think this TI Suns fan and Syndrin were fucking killer. Suns fan doing a great job as a play-by-play. Owen and Fog. Owen's just always gonna be good. He's the best. And I'm just like, okay, and like everyone's having fun and celebrating Dota and talking about how everyone's doing so well, and I'm just fucking, just yeah, I should be thankful, but ultimately it just made me sad. I was just like, oh, fuck. Like
You didn't get
I
to go to
don't,
the party.
I didn't get to
You
go
didn't
to the party. I basically felt like that, like I basically now feel like my career just like stumbled down a fucking flight of stairs. That's basically how I feel. So yeah, so I survived, but now I feel like I have to start all over again.
You got like there's something to prove again. Like there's not necessarily a chip on your shoulder, but
Yeah,
like if it's that it's like as soon as you step out of the public eye for a second, like people forget about you, right? And
yeah. I
that's
mean, it's
kind of
also the fact that it's just the last cast that I did at TI wasn't happy with either, and the people weren't happy with either. So it's like that is the last thing that I did. And like I feel like I would have done better as playoffs went on, but
or you did a cast that wasn't great and you already probably had COVID, right? So I mean, you were playing that cast that you didn't like at 40%, 50%. Be generous, 70%. Like really, you can't really beat yourself up for playing like a really sick game of Dota, eh?
well, I think I overcorrected is what I did. I think I felt a bit run down, and it was late and it was cold. And I think I overcorrected and like pushed too hard. I think I tried too hard in the cast.
And that was
Basically.
noticeable. Like people are like, he's trying too hard.
Yeah, that is my. I have not listened back to the cast, but that it was my impression when I think about it. When I think about why I didn't like that cast, is that it did not feel natural. So it just, and now I have to be here for another 10 days or something.
Well, practically speaking, there's going to be a lot more TIs, and you're going to do a lot better casts. And like I know that it's probably going to take you a minute to get back there, both physically and mentally. But like there's no doubt in my mind that we get a couple weeks, a couple months away from this, and you're back to where you know that you can be. Like there's that's going to be a beautiful rebound. I'm not even a little bit worried about that.
I hope so.
I
but,
know so. I absolutely know so.
I don't know. The thing is that like my motivations are just different now. Like I think I'm gonna take I think I'm gonna not do the first DPC season perhaps, which is dangerous because like that might just leave me without a DPC entirely. I know like I'm not the only one who felt this way. That there was like coming to this event was like kind of wish we didn't come. I know I wasn't the only one that felt that way, and obviously that's never happened at a TI before. And it was just like shit. I kind of wish I just like casted this from home, that like on my own stream for 50 viewers.
Are you telling me that Peter was right? Fuck.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
I would almost say, like, maybe before you start making those decisions, like, take a week, get back home, sleep in your own bed, feel a little bit better, hug Ellie.
Take a week. Take a week.
Take more than a week.
I'll still be here in a week, Joey.
I have to
take
quarantine
3 weeks for 14 days. Everyone from fucking TI is gonna go fly off. Me and JJ. JJ is the other person who obviously had COVID.
So
and him, thankfully, were the only people to get it, as far as we can tell. So.
That's great for Kyle. Like, I mean, that's probably my first concern, right? That's probably why he was also quarantining, I'd assume, because you're next to each other all the time.
Yeah, when people were talking of they were short-staffed for the last 2 days, basically 3 days, because they had to quarantine a bunch of people. Once I got tested positive, and then JJ tested positive. And that was the other thing, by the way, is I tested with symptoms. I got a PCR test with symptoms, and it came back negative. I feel like the testing facility did a very shit job of testing us. They did a little tickle up the nose. You got any boogers up there? A little pokey. Hey, they weren't touching my sinuses. And yeah.
Really makes me wonder about, like, big picture, because I think that we're used to, testing in Los Angeles, or what we've set up as normal in America, but it really makes you wonder how testing is going on in the rest of the world and how that's impacting things big picture. Because you're right, if you were just it's wild to me when you first told me you weren't feeling well, we were talking about scheduling a podcast and trying to figure out when we can do it, because it's hard, the time difference and the games, and your schedule was rough, right? And you're like, I don't feel very well. And my first question is like, oh well, did you get a COVID test? And you're like, nah. Or like yes, I tested negative, I just have the flu. And I'm like, okay, like, that sucks. I'm sorry. You're probably not going to be able to cast, but, like, drink some water, like, pat, here you go, buddy. And then I didn't even think twice about it, because I'm like, oh, he got a PCR test. Like, he's fine. He doesn't have COVID. And then you didn't, like, respond to me for, like, 3 or 4 days, and I'm like, is Austin okay? And the answer was no. The answer was no, you really weren't okay, which, like, dude, fuck. I'm glad that you are. I am over the moon that you are okay now, and that we've crested a hill. But, like, that's terrifying. I mean, no one wants to have COVID. Who wants to have COVID in a hotel room in a world where they barely speak the language, and across the planet from everything that you're comfortable to?
I would have felt so much better if I was almost anywhere else, in any other first world country. Let's put it that way. Just because Romania is getting hit so hard that I didn't feel comfortable going to the hospital. Because I would have gone to the hospital fucking 3 times over if I had been anywhere else. But because I was here and Romania is getting hit so hard, I didn't feel great about what was going to happen while I was there. So
I don't.
Yeah.
Some more practical questions, because I'm curious, and I don't know if I'm prying. Like, other symptoms, like did you experience, like, lack of smell or taste, or anything else that people kind of mark with COVID?
Hold up.
He is sniffing something.
I still have some sense of smell.
He has some sense of. What were you smelling right there?
Box of After Eights.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's strong.
So I still have some sense of smell, but I've been told that goes, like, after several days of getting COVID. So I'm still anticipating that to go away at some point in time.
So are you not able to leave until you get, like, a negative test and then wait a bunch of days? Have you already got a negative test?
Doesn't matter if you got a negative. You still have to quarantine for a full 14 days here. If you don't, and they find out, they put you in prison.
Oh, that's exciting. So you're 4 days in, and you don't have to, like, get another test at the end of your 14 days. You'll just
I don't know if I'm 4 days in or 6, because I self-isolated before I tested positive. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's based off when your test is or when your symptoms start. I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, just don't go to prison. Maybe you can message the embassy.
Yeah.
Um, I guess that, practically speaking, are we like breaking news here? Like, is there anything that like
I got COVID. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's fairly obvious that I was missing. I got a lot of messages from people wishing me well. And it did like that is the thing. It did remind me in some ways like the part of the reason I love my and part of the reason why I keep doing it and I will keep doing it is not the community. Sorry if you're listening. Fuck you. No.
great, strong.
It's not the community that keeps me going. It's the people that I work with that is most important to me. And I got so many messages from people checking up on me when they found out I had the flu. When they were checking up on me and like, hey, this sucks that you're not here. Blah blah blah. And then obviously even more when they found out that I did have COVID. So. So many people messaged me that I honestly could not reply to them because I was trying to stay alive at the time. But there's also too many messages. One of those people, Slacks, who at this point in time I consider like one of my dearest friends. He actually got me a birthday cake, and despite the fact that man works every day from fucking 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. During these TI broadcasts. Like, he is literally the busiest person, at least of talent. And he took the time to make sure that I had a birthday cake on my birthday. So, sweetest fucking guy. Was messaging me, making me happy, making me laugh. While I was sick, and everyone did that, but I'm just giving him a special shout out. So
he deserves it.
Yeah,
I think that it's probably a testament to your coworkers and the community and the family you have there that like that no one did say anything, or like it wasn't like a public thing, or no one leaked anything, for lack of a better word, right? Like it was just, hey, on with the show, on with Austin's privacy. Let's make sure that like he feels better and not make this a point.
Yeah, I mean, I also didn't. The reason I haven't said anything publicly is because I didn't want to overshadow the event with that sort of stuff, and like especially like when I was feeling really really bad.
That's big news. Like if you
didn't
tell
want to be
people
like,
that's not just like your Twitter or our Dota 2. That's a Kotaku post. That's news, right?
Yeah. So it's public that like somebody has some two people had COVID. For whatever reason, for a while it was just one person, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Because there's definitely another person, and but yeah, but I didn't say anything, mostly because I didn't want to be like, hey guys,
it's about me.
I hope you're enjoying TI and like Dota, and like, TI is supposed to be about like celebration of Dota sort of thing, and me just kind of like being like, hey, but I'm sick. hey, I'm sick here, sick guy over here. I was like, I don't really want to do that. So it's that's the only reason I didn't say anything. So
have you and JJ decided who to blame for who actually got COVID and gave it to the other person?
No, because there's so many potential. Like, again, it's I don't know if like the hotel workers are vaccinated, for example. We obviously, all the guests, we had a fucking Dracula con here. Did you know that? There was literally a group of old people who traveled to Romania. Just think about like the mindset you have to be in to travel to Romania for an excursion like that. Their yearly Dracula con, literally a group of old people dressed up in the fucking 1920s vampire cloak. They're all fucking sitting around in the fucking lobby wearing vampire cloaks, Apparently, they stayed at our hotel, and then the next day they were gonna go to Dracula's castle together. I'm fucking here in this country because I get paid a lot of fucking money, and it's, for me it's like, okay, well, this is the risk I take every single event, so I'm gonna keep taking that risk. I'm gonna keep rolling that dice because this is how I make money, and I accept that risk. Like I said this before, like any of these events I go to, I know that every single time I'm rolling the dice and potentially catching COVID, but that's true of everything, right? Every single time I'm rolling the dice, the airplane is going to crash as well. It's just you have to accept sometimes those risks.
I love the idea of the hotel bar being like Seb, and then No Tail, and then Dracula. It makes my picture of T.I. that much more interesting to know that that's what the lobby looked like.
Yeah.
I should pull
yeah. So yes, I with those sort of things, and like all the drivers there, a lot of masks, showing noses and stuff like that. When I got it, I thought about it for a bit. But ultimately doesn't matter if it was me or JJ who got it first. Like, either way, we both got it from something that was like just fucking random, and I was just kind of like, well, whatever. It is what it is.
And just to confirm,
JJ kept blaming himself because he's a very sweet guy. Like, he showed symptoms first, so like he felt terrible and was like, "Oh my god, I got you sick," and stuff like that. I kept telling him, "Stop. That's not how that works." People not. It incubates longer in some people than other people. I was like, don't put this on yourself. Relax, man. Very sweet guy though. JJ is such a sweetheart.
And like, I think this probably goes without saying, especially if people listen to the podcast all the time, but like, you are safe, probably even more safe than some of your coworkers. You're a vaccinated human who believes in COVID, who travels with precautions and wears a mask properly, right? Like, so I guess it's just like, not that we need to make a PSA, but it's like, it could still happen to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, there's also list of random things continues, right? I got the Johnson vaccine. Just one example. If I had gotten the other two, maybe I don't actually catch it, right? Or maybe my symptoms aren't as bad. Or what if I got the Johnson vaccine very early. I got it in March, way ahead of most other people, because I got one of those leftover vaccines when they had too many, right? So that means I'm due for a booster shot, but it's a Johnson.
As of this week, when you were getting diagnosed and dying with COVID, the FDA over here was saying, you know what, Johnson & Johnson boosters, let's do it. So like,
yeah, I was looking at that news real hard before I left, because I was like, guys, I really need a booster. I'm not feeling so fucking good about going to Romania without one. It's been a while since I took my vaccine, but we didn't have one, so I was just like, okay. But like, I got it so long ago, the effectiveness, no doubt, it goes down. So like, that's just another reason I potentially caught it. It's just these things are just, it's just a whole bunch of fucking random elements, and I figure it's not worth thinking too hard about.
No,
it is what it is.
Just genuinely happy that your fever went down and you're okay.
Me too.
Like, like that's genuinely terrifying. That makes me, I've had friends who've gotten COVID, but like, you skew towards the way scarier side of it compared to people I've heard talk about firsthand experiences. So like, it's really sobering to even listen to you talk about like, yeah, man, I was in an ice bath. Yeah, man, like I felt delusional. Like, fuck.
Yeah, and that's with the vaccine, which is supposed to lessen the effects, which I was definitely thinking about, because I was like, if I didn't get the vaccine, am I just dead right now instead of sitting in my bathtub? I was just like, what the fuck?
I don't know, man. I don't like to think about that. I'll joke about that till the cows come home, but the truth is, I don't like to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Making jokes, thinking about jokes. Ha ha ha, funnies. Oh, has
This is a depressing podcast, so we're allowed to not have jokes. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let me try one. I know you said Slacks got you a cake, but has Aiden got you a gift? Because I think inadvertently he might be the person who benefits most from you getting sick.
Oh yeah, work TI finals. Good for him. He's going to be great talent if he ever retires being a player. Wonderful, wonderful guy.
Love him.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't have any follow up. I don't got anything else I want to talk about. I just want you to go back to bed. I'm sorry that you have to be stuck in Romania for 10 more days. I hope that is Ellie going back home before you? Is she also staying there longer? Like what's
no, she's gonna stay here because she doesn't want to leave me alone.
That makes sense.
She's gonna stay here and be in a different hotel than me and just wait it out.
Well, I am going to get on a plane tomorrow to go to a wedding. So I'm going to be hanging out on the beach in Hawaii, and I will not send you any pictures or anything to worsen your your quarantine prison sentence. I practically speaking, I don't know / don't think there's going to be a podcast next week. I think what I'll probably do, which again I'm doing some live production here. I think what I'll probably do is I'll edit the first one about TI to release like maybe even now or like soon.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I might schedule this one for just like 24 hours after.
I would say probably make it a little more like 48.
48? Yeah, let's let more TI jolliness pass.
Yeah. I'll be available to do another podcast whenever because I've got fuck all to do here.
Maybe I'll take my microphone and we can play that by ear. But like 50-50 won the next week, but we'll double up this week to let all that out into the open. Really, dude. I mean, I don't want to be, sappy, but I'm genuinely glad you're feeling better, and I'm glad that people got you ice baths and electrolytes and Pedialyte, and I'm glad that it was not worse.
Thank you, Joey. I appreciate it.
Whew. Everybody else, remember to let Cap know that he is still very valuable and not lost in the ether. Even though he's not doing it for you, he's doing it for his friends. I want to make that very clear. And congrats to Team Spirit again.
Nah, fuck him. This one was about me.
Oh, you know what?
Go fuck themselves. Fuck you, Team Spirit. You've
fuck
got
you,
plenty
Magnus.
You don't need any congratulations. You're getting congratulations from the world. You already got one podcast about you.
Okay, I am signing off. I'm glad you feel well. Or better.